Hey Molly, that's my seat, and that's my line. I'm off to go and get my island ready for the 2.0 update. Hey YouTube, it's Alexi Giovani here, and welcome to my channel. With Brewster coming into the museum, the first thing you want to ensure is that at least you've upgraded out of his tent if you've decided to restart. I personally have ensured that I've collected all of my fish and bugs for two reasons. One is that I really wanted to get my golden tools, in case we had any other fish or bugs to catch. And second, it gives us a bunch of Nook Mile points, all of which contribute to your tally for those cabin rides, which I still wonder whether or not we'll be able to find new villages this way. What do you think? Speaking of finding new villages, I'd recommend you get at least 100 Nook Mile tickets for going villager hunting. Whatever your fancy is on getting these, I usually trade either villagers or trade my flowers. There's going to be an onslaught of new recipes to learn, in particular for cooking, so I'd recommend learning as many of the recipes that you can in the meantime. Check out a previous video that I've done around collecting those hard to get recipes, which is linked on screen, and I'll also link it in the description as well. The other thing I'd recommend is to stock up on those Nook Mile points. I finally have a use for these things now. You'll be burning 1,000 miles per trip with Cap'n, so stock up on them. If you've got anyone in boxes, try to trade them for profit for bells and or Nook Mile tickets. With 16 new villages coming as part of Series 5's Amiibo and 2.0 update, you'll want to make sure that you've got heaps for trips or for trading for them. If you've recently restarted your island in preparation for the update, or you've just started playing the game, I'd recommend capping your intake to the villages to 8, which is enough to get you to the 3-star rating that you need for KK and to get those new songs. This also keeps 2 spots for you up your sleeve if and when you go hunting for your favourite dreamy. Sasha anyone? Which is a lazy boy, by the way. We're not entirely sure yet whether you can use all these racked up Nook Mile points to allow you to take heaps of rides with Cap'n here and find villagers. I'm really hopeful that we can find it as an alternative way to find our dreamy. Those Nook Mile points, by the way, will definitely come in handy when it comes to redeeming and unlocking these new recipes, reactions and licenses. You might have seen these funky designs that you can now wear and put on your wall as an accent in your house. So don't forget to bust Sable's chops each day for the next week to get those patterns that she gives to you. Check the linked video as well to learn how to do this for yourself if you haven't already done that. You do need to break her down, but she does eventually give in and give you 10 pages worth of different patterns. And I don't know if you noticed this, but we're getting 1 extra page when it comes to these designs in the 2.0 update. Now let's get up off this director's chair for a sec and head to the town hall. It goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. The other thing you're going to need to have is an abundance of bells. And if you haven't already, check my linked video on how to get 1 billion bells and become a billionaire, and that's in the Treasure Islands video. I'll leave that one linked as well for you. But with 8 sites expected at Harv's Plaza or thereabouts, these Lloyds can only mean one thing. We need to pay, because the villagers sure aren't going to pay for it. My optimistic guess is that they'll need at least 50k bells, but my realistic guess is 100 per site. And with what looks like 8 spots free, I'd reserve at least 1 million bells for that. Another good use of your secret holding of bells will be for your 2 new ramps and 2 new bridges, which at worst case scenario are 228k per unit, so let's round that up to another 1 million, taking into account a few demolitions of your villager moves and other destructions that you might take place. So you can quickly make use of your first few layers for your first few days on post 2.0 update. Don't forget those permanent ladders. This might include some sneaky little nooks and crannies. Yeah, that pun was intended, because it goes with the game. Housekeeping is in order for all those holes in the ground, so you're not getting as many false positives when it comes to digging up those gyroids. And whilst you're at it, start thinking about it, if you haven't already, of where to place that ABD and your storage shed. I'm hopeful that we get more than one, but if we only get one, this is where mine's going. Good to give it a test run while you're at it. I'm sure this has been on the top of your list, which is why it's on the bottom of mine, but it's still important. have a think about how you'll arrange and want to farm all your veggies. I'm putting mine in rows like traditional garden for a bit of colour as opposed to how they depicted it in the direct. Let me know in the comments what's your style. I've reserved a little extra space for my orchard just in case we get 3 or more fruits, and I've also ensured I've got some space for those potentially new palm trees for tropical fruits on my beach. Better safe than sorry is what I always say. And if you haven't already, do consider how you're going to get the DLC, if at all. So you can get it obviously through the upgrade of Nintendo Online Expansion Pack, or if you like, you can just get the DLC for Happy Home Paradise on its very own. And I've already pre-ordered this, so I can't wait. And if you have done all this and you're just waiting for November 5 to arrive to get the update, here's something for you to do. Check out my other videos on how to get these really hard purple, green and blue flowers. So this is Alexi Giovani signing off, and until next time, see ya!